Hi, good people, and praise the Lord. I hope you're good in the Lord. I am, at which I give God all the glory. Recently, my friend was teasing me with my signature conversation that I start the conversation with "Hi, good people." And I thank the Lord that people are starting to identify me with one thing or the other. But I pray that the psycho-spiritual wholeness mandate will become a household narrative or objective, because I can tell you the truth, people of God, we are spiritual beings, but have a body. In this body, there is the soul, and the soul is where we find the aspect of the psyche. In the soul, we have the mind, the emotions, the will. And I always tell you, people of God, as a psycho-spiritual minister, I'm still very non-judgmental pertaining people who think they operate in dichotomy. Dichotomy means that there are people who completely overlook the spirituality of life, and they have intentionally or unconsciously decided to live life through dichotomy, that you're just a body and have a soul. But in the psycho-spiritual wholeness mandate, we believe we are spirit beings, and many times I've even tried to defend that, because I say during death or when someone dies, you can be able to understand how we are spirit beings. Because if I were to fall dead today, God forbid, they'll say, this is the body of Mary Morgan. Where is Mary Morgan? It's always a question that we should ask ourselves at a particular moment when we exit this physical realm. Where will our immaterial being, the soul or the spirit, go? And that's why we can't afford to live this life just thinking we are material beings. We are more than that. We are created in the image and the likeness of God, and God is a spirit. I know that different religions explore their spirituality differently, but I know the common denominator that we have as human beings is that 90% of us know there is a divine being somewhere who is involved with the well-being of human beings. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the feedback that you give me every time I do content. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for inboxing me. I don't take it for granted. Anytime you tune in, it is a moment to learn and relearn. Even for me, I learn a lot even from the feedbacks that you give me. Today, people of God, I'm talking about a topic that I'm very passionate with, especially because in the counseling room or in the counseling journey, this issue comes up in ways you can't imagine. And the topic is about parenting. People of God, as an adult, who we are, how we think, how we see life, sometimes even how we express our emotions, how we've been socially brought up, influences a lot who we become. And that journey starts at home, a place where children are so innocent, because we don't even apply to be born where we find ourselves in. We don't apply to be born by the parents that gave birth to us. We don't choose the experiences that we'll go through, especially when we are young. And the news, the big news is that those experiences shapes us greatly, either positively or negatively. And as I was preparing to come and talk about parenting, I was feeling helpless a bit, because parenting, many people say that it doesn't come with a manual, and it is quite an unfortunate phrase, for it has made many parents to totally destroy their children unconsciously. If you are parented wrongly, you find you are doing it wrong yourself, or those that maybe realize they were hurt, they compensate or overcompensate, and in the process, they still destroy the children. And this being a psycho-spiritual conversation, I'll be sharing this conversation from those two dimensions, psychological point of view, but I'll climax it with spirituality, because if we say parenting does not have a manual, in a way it is true. But when we come to spirituality, it's an error, because the Word of God, and especially in scriptures, will find information on how we should bring up our children. And that takes us back to, do you think life is spiritual, or you don't believe life is spiritual? Because to those who don't believe in the spirituality of life, you find yourself with a child, you are clueless, you have no even agenda with this child other than sense of belonging in the society, because people who are childless or people who don't have biological children, sometimes they beat themselves and they feel like they are not whole. Not because that is the truth. It is because in the society, people are socialized to think that a complete family is only when there is a biological child, which is not true, people of God. There are so many ways we can directly parent children or indirectly parent children. And even a couple who are struggling with fertility issues, they are still a complete family. And those of us who have children by the grace of God, whether you believe you just conceived them because conception is a natural act, is a principle, or to us who believe that children are gifts from God, the truth is that parenting is a divine responsibility that we should take seriously. For if we don't, that child that you're mishandling right now will become a dysfunctional adult. And many issues, people of God, truthfully, that we work with people in the counseling room, when you go to the underlying issues, because in counseling we say that the presenting issue is as a result of many underlying issues. When we go to the underlying issues, you realize that two adults struggling with unfinished business of the past, struggling with childhood traumas, struggling with so many things of the past, which now project to be a pathology even in the family system or in the workplace, that now when you are solving the presenting issue, you have to go back to their childhood experiences. And in this journey, that's why I pray that it is an offensive battle to those of us who are parents. We'll start getting this right so that our children will not become dysfunctional adults. But again, it's not a hopeless case to people who have gone through traumas or have gone through issues that have affected them negatively. That's why, people of God, having that safe and confidential person you can walk with, whom you can unmask and you share some of these experiences, it is critical. Being a mental health expert, I advocate go for counseling. Recently, I shared a video on FB where a man of God was saying something I believe in. In my theology too, there is the aspect of counseling, people of God. For many things we struggle with, we may not even be conscious of them. But when you work with a professional mental health expert, you are able to unravel some of these things and you walk a journey towards wholeness. People of God, as much as I'm talking about pathological childhood or unfinished business and traumas, it is still not a label that anyone should be wearing proudly, because as mental health issues continue to be conventional conversation, you can see them being taken to a trajectory that is not healthy. Everyone now is becoming a victim of their past. Everyone now has become a victim of their upbringing. And in the process, instead of growing or healing, Many have started to be bitter even with their parents. Many are trying even to correct their parents on maybe they didn't bring them up or anything. Children of God, knowledge is supposed to help us take steps to becoming better people. Knowledge should not make you a victim of circumstance, or now you start blaming people who did what they knew to do best. Because even to those parents who many times we make mistakes with our children, it's not out of knowing or out of hatred, it's a kind of ignorance, or in a way there is an information you don't have. And I can give self-disclosure. To unstuck as people of God, I am one person who have made some of those mistakes. By the grace of God, I'm a mother of 4. My firstborn knows the face of me that my other children don't know. Not because I changed, but by the time I was parenting him, I was naive, I was ignorant, I was growing up. There are mistakes I made with him which I've purposed not to make with my other children. And many times I pray that the Lord will even fill the gaps that I may have left in one way or the other. If today my son was to turn and be bitter with me and be angry with me, it would be quite an unfortunate situation. And that's why even you, child of God, when you have knowledge and you realize maybe you are parents pushed you to the corner, or as I talk about the different types of parenting styles, it does not mean you should blame your parents. It should empower you to become a better person in the future as a parent. But at the same time, when you realize you are wounded, you go to seek help, you go for counseling to the glory of God. As I said, there are many different types of parenting styles, but I'll talk of 4. One, there is the authoritative parenting type, which is highly demanding with clear rules, expectations, but are nurturing, supportive, and open to negotiation. Authoritative types of parents, they set clear boundaries, they give direction, there are rules, but at the same time, they nurture the children, they support them, they listen to them. And children who grow up from such an environment grow up to be very independent children. They are socially competent and they have self-control. This is because they are given opportunities to explore, to experience life. Yes, there are clear rules pertaining life. They are told the dangers of not going here or there. But at the same time, si ati wamefungiwa, like they are not confined, because in the next one you realize what's the difference between authoritative and authoritarian. And children who have come from a background where parents are present, they are supportive, they have given the consequences of taking certain actions, but at the same time, they are listening to their children and are supporting them. Children from this type of homestead have good mental health, child of God. For the first support system of a child's mindset and mental health is home. If there is a lot of pathologies, a lot of pain, a lot of neglect at home, even if at school, example, they are good teachers, you'll still realize that these children struggle with one thing or the other. The second type of parenting style is the authoritarian. And this is the conventional African type of parenting. I don't know where we got it from, because at a particular point, even me, I was like this. They are highly demanding and characterized with strict rules. And the common phrase of the authoritarian type of parents is, it's either my way or the highway. You are not given an opportunity to express yourself. You are not allowed or given choices to think by yourself. Is that you have to truthfully follow. If your parents say right, you go right. They say left, you go left. Even when at a particular stage you're feeling, hey, left may be better, you cannot even be able to express yourself and give an opinion. And truthfully, people of God, as much as we see children as vulnerable creatures, we see them like they have no opinion. Even children have opinions that can be very beneficial in the family system. When as parents, it's my way or the highway, what it does is that it completely destroys the self-esteem of the children, because the self have been so suppressed to a level now, even when they are adults, they'll always doubt the decisions that they're about to make. They'll always doubt their potential. They'll always doubt whether they are good enough in the world. And that's why, child of God, as an adult, you may find yourself deep internally. You have these internal conflicts of your worth. You have low self-esteem. And let me tell you, people of God, people who have low self-esteem, even in love relationship or romantic relationship, they really struggle with their partners because it's always like a competition, or they'll have this inflated ego or sense of worth, not because that's who they are, but they are trying to compensate from the deep and the inner struggles.